Hello again, and welcome
Okay.
back to Beyond the Fever Swamp, the Heroes of Nilfenburg. Um, Last time, our party successfully closed the uh, portal opened by the cult in Rosbach Castle, and proceeded to begin looting the place as Saint Amelia and her soldiers moved up to take the castle. Um, when we left off, you had given the book recovered from the cultists to Saint Amelia, and um, she had told you that she would travel with you and read it along the way back to the Archmage, and relay to you the contents of this elvish book. Um, she has gone her own way to pray and rest for the night. Um, the sun is starting to get low in the sky. The day after your battle with the demons. Soldiers are beginning to make themselves comfortable and begin to celebrate outside the castle. Some of the party have claimed rooms within the castle for themselves, but you have um, an evening in the Baron's castle to do as you like before you set out in the morning. Does anyone want to do anything with this time?
We should probably try to figure out where the Baron went. Just, have a look around and see what we can learn about what happened here. Lucas intends to sort of do a walk around, making investigation checks. And just learn what he can learn, see what he can see.
Okay.
Check for other escape routes the Baron might have gone through. That kind of thing.
Okay.
Kildrak wants to spend some time in the library. I know that you said it was largely destroyed, but he's hoping to find some material that maybe talks about the culture of the area.
Okay. Um. So, first, Lucas, sort of tell me like what rooms you're going to be like focusing your investigation on initially.
Well, initially, probably the office and bedroom, but moving from there, Lucas is a cartographer, and so he is aware that there are gaps in the castle. This is a talent that I feel he has, and so I think that he would be checking around these gaps.
All right. So you said starting with uh the bedroom and the office.
Yes.
All right. Roll investigation.
Okay. $12.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. 12. Okay. Lucas can tell that there is his sort of knowledge of distances and shapes and sizes confirm to him that there is very definitely a gap here. That you all should be able to see on the map. Lucas is convinced that there is a that this is not solid stone, but that there must be some sort of secret passageway there. Although he cannot quite deduce a means of accessing it from here.
So do we go with the brute force approach then?
Not necessarily. It's entirely possible that it's not accessible from here. And there's more sections to check yet that have got weird gaps to explore. And there is, in fact, another office to look into, which is curiously beside one of those.
But as a barbarian, I want to smash things.
Please don't smash a building we're inside that we don't own while we're surrounded by an army that does own it and unsure which walls are load-bearing. You know, if you collapse the castle onto St. Emilia, I don't think this is going to end well for us.
So where does Lucas go next then?
Well, did his mundane investigation not finding any further information? He'll probably wander for just a teeny bit. Probably check through here. You know,
I think I nearly crashed my computer.
What'd you do?
I don't know. I just nearly crashed my
Random
computer.
Discord.
If I had to guess, there was a program that was frozen for a very long time that I did not realize was frozen for a very long time. So I got it to stop running, and it nearly stopped my entire computer running.
well then.
But it seems to be working now, so everything is fine. I think.
All right then. So
Lucas's next obvious step, after having looked around a little bit
Mhm.
in the third part of the office chamber here, the waiting room, if he doesn't find anything of interest there, would be to head downstairs immediately beneath the office, count out paces, and realize that this part of the couch is under the inaccessible area, and therefore figuring out which wall is not load-bearing. But he's also going to come over here and realize this wall is still in position, covering a gap. This wall is still in position, covering a gap. So this area between the two may connect our two gaps. But he doesn't really know. He'll look around, though.
As he searches these walls, he gets the same feeling that there is something behind these walls, but there is he spends some time examining these walls and is convinced that they do not move.
All right. With that in mind, well, there's a section of the basement that would come up under that. He'll wander around back down to here and check the roof.
Let's see, so that would be about right there, but then yes. Okay. Yes. So as he checks the roof there, he taps up on the wooden ceiling, and he is and he can hear like it sounds hollow on the other side. There's definitely a room above him, and not just stone. It's not filled in. It's clearly a hollow space.
Does he think that the well, probably does the castle have a stone floor there? Does he think, or does he think that there's only wood between the two?
There might be some stone tile, but nothing that would prevent like breaking through the floor above and climbing up.
It's probably the easiest way to do it, and the least likely to damage the castle structurally.
Mm-hmm.
Though he will report his findings to the others and let them know that we're not wanting to tunnel up the behind the desk here, the wall should not be load bearing.
After they go over it, Filster asks about this closet that he's standing in.
Well, that
He's known about this closet, he won't say why.
Mhm. That closet contains some clothing and such from belonging to the former Baron. Um, but if Filsticker wishes to search it thoroughly, you can roll investigation.
Very well.
It appears
Never
to be
mind,
a
just
perfectly
normal
mundane
closet.
closet.
He shuts the door on himself again.
Is there anything interesting that Bort's shorter perspective might afford him over the rest of the party?
Mm, I'm not sure what you mean.
Just things that a it's human at 5 foot tall might miss that a dwarf at like 4 foot might see, like things under tables or
And he's seeking
lower.
keyholes at neck height.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you'll have to tell me like where he is or what he's doing.
Fair enough. He'll peruse. Uh, hmm. He'll be perusing the basement again. Just looking around there.
Okay, which rooms in the
Stone
basement?
cutting.
Uh, I guess. Well, there's not many rooms in the basement. I guess the largest storage room.
This one?
Yes. To start
All right.
off with.
Well, that's the one that Lucas was in momentarily, where they deduced that the ceiling was into a secret room.
All right. Well, then I will check the jail cells. See if there's any more secrets in there beside the escape tunnel.
Mm-hmm. Um. Your stone cutting tells you that there is most certainly nothing else in the jail cell to be
Fair
discovered.
enough.
Ooh, what about that? What about that note we never read on the table?
Can Bort read that at all?
There is no note of significance. That's just a desk token.
Uh,
I'm sure that there are papers on the desk, but they are not of consequence.
We keep trying to peel it off, but it's just painted onto the table.
Are they significant enough to bear a date?
Sure, probably. They're probably all a few weeks old.
So it looks like the Baron hasn't used this office since before the Demon Crisis began.
Yes.
All right. That is useful information.
all right. But it's not loot. All right. I will go into the smallest of the storage rooms and see if there's anything noteworthy in there. In fact, can I just roll for both the storage rooms except for the one that's already been dealt with?
Sure.
Excellent. Should I roll once or twice?
I'll just roll once for the lot of them. I'll
Alright.
assume that you thoroughly, sir.
That's disappointing.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. So nothing. Bort can find nothing of note in the two storage rooms.
All right. Lucas is going to just chill out here in the waiting room, staring at what is presumably the floor-to-ceiling painting opposite him that he didn't spot with his 12 investigation.
Okay. It seems to be a floor-to-ceiling painting of the Clockwork Nirvana.
Wonderful.
It's a nice painting. It's a copy of a much more famous painting.
Well, you know, there's good art in copying as well.
Yes.
Filsticker's gonna crawl under this desk right here.
Where's Phil Sticker?
Good question.
Ah, there Phil Sticker is. So that's not actually a desk, but that is okay, yeah, I guess it's a desk.
It's the piano.
No, it's a desk now. So
What was it for?
I was going to say it was I thought it was meant to be a dresser drawer, but then I realized that there was a chair in front of it. So yes, it is a desk. So okay, Phil Sticker
I've
crawl.
won the contest of will.
Yes. So Phil Sticker, you crawl under the desk. You're under a desk. It is comfortably claustrophobic.
Have an alarm clock down here, and everyone would think I'm off being busy somewhere, but I'm napping underneath. Okay. Filsticker's sure this must be it, because he doesn't want to look anywhere else.
Alright.
He begins prodding stones, kicks the wall,
Alright.
pushes all the buttons underneath the desk.
Okay, there are no buttons, but investigate, I suppose.
Alright.
Okay. Phil Sticker discovers a piece of or discovers a seam in the wall. There is some sort of secret door here. the mechanism to open it is not obvious.
That's something, though.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
But there's very definitely a seam in the wall. It's very definitely a secret door.
Right. Filsticker immediately begins wondering if I put my magical seed. Wait, no, because they know there's the secret rooms. They're definitely going to find it, so I can't plant a swamp in the secret room. I've got to be the one to discover the secret room. In a different castle. Okay, well, Splinter, you can turn into a centipede, right?
Yeah.
Go in there.
Okay. Splinter
Excellent.
Splinter transforms into a tiny centipede, and just like they can get into everywhere in your house, squeezes between the seams of the secret door and the wall, and is inside, and he says, it's a good thing I can see in the dark, because it's very dark in here. But
Yes, it is. That means you can see the switch. Let me in.
he tells you that there is he describes the inside of the room. There's a chest in here, and a box, like a cask of some kind of glass jars, and there's a ladder, and I think that there's another door into the hallway, and there's a trap door on top of the ladder. Then he turns back into a closet and pushes the secret door from the other side, and allows Filsticker to enter.
Like, knocks the desk over and kills.
No, I was imagining that this door is like a small door you'd have to crawl through.
Okay.
It's like under the desk.
Oh wow, there's too much. There are too many autumn leaves here for me to carry myself. I think I'll have to tell my friend. Lucas, I found it.
What? Where did you find it? Where are you right
Was
now?
I
You sounded
dead?
like you're right beneath me.
Yeah, I'm in the secret room.
All right, I'll be right down.
I'm right here,
Yes, I'm coming in.
next to you.
All right. So Lucas comes into this guest bedroom, and yes, and you see that there's like a little, like little square trapdoor behind the this desk, and you crawl through it, and you're in some sort of hidden room. There's a ladder going up, and it looks like another secret exit to this room down on the south side.
Silas can't come in. He's too big.
Lucas is quite surprised there
I was
isn't one
thinking the
leading
same
out of the
thing.
castle. But
What's that?
I'm sorry, I was just saying I was thinking the same exact thing, Sala. Too
Yeah.
big to fit.
He might.
I wanted Lucas.
Yeah.
Lucas said that he was surprised that there doesn't seem to be a way to escape the castle here.
Mm-hmm.
But stepping over and around the treasure, he is going to check the ladder for now.
All right. The ladder goes up. There's a trap door on the top. But if you try it, you find that it is not not locked. And as you open it, you reveal a hidden hallway on the top floor, which has some secret doors as well.
Behind the painting, that's ingenious. It says, never would have thought of that. And behind the bookshelf, must be one of those. You pull the right book and the mechanism swivels you around. Magnificent.
Yeah, I was staring at that painting, but I didn't know what it was, so
All right. Lucas begins picking through the treasure for anything resembling a clue. He'll also record the treasure.
Right. Okay. So the chest itself contains some amount of money, gemstones, and a disguise kit. And there is a cask of glass bottles, 12 of them in total, which Phil Sticker would be able to recognize as holy water.
I've seen that before. That is holy water.
Holy water, Batman.
Similar to this, which I hold here.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Holy water, that's a lot of water.
I wonder why holy water. He might have suspected he'd come under attack from demons or the dead at some point, but
Maybe he was renting out his castle to the cult, and he was worried about what they were doing, so he got a bunch of holy water, just in case.
Well, the problem is, he never got here, which means that he didn't use this escape hatch. Or he had a lot more than 12 bottles of holy water here. But
Well, maybe he had them, but he didn't get to use them because they, drowned him in the bathtub or something.
the disguise kit is interesting as well. He must have intended to be able to go incognito as a peasant. So that must have been prepared for a more general sort of mutiny. Either way, this doesn't really tell us where he is or why.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So, Kildrak, you were searching the library. Well, I already gave out last time the books that were not destroyed. So piecing through it, you might find some individual pages.
Sure.
But there are no
Right,
more
so-
books.
I mean, to be clear, he wasn't really looking for treasure specifically or even necessarily whole books.
Mm-hmm.
It was just trying to get more information on culture and etc. in the area. So if he can glean anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
that's just for him, right?
Yeah, you're right. I'm not sure what all he could learn from the ruined library.
Fair enough.
If you have more specific questions, maybe, but I don't. I'm afraid I don't know how to
Not
answer
really.
that.
Nah, that's fine. Mostly it was for flavor.
All right. So Lucas is, I assume, spends some additional time trying to determine the fate of the Baron. But give me one last investigation check.
Okay. We will see how this one goes. If Lucas had gone to bed first, he might have been determined to do this, but he can't be.
Hmm.
So 25. There we go. That's
25. Okay. Well, Lucas searches the castle top to bottom for any signs of what happened to the Baron. First of all, he definitely finds no signs of bodies belonging to anyone other than the cult members. He determines that anyone who was working with the Baron and himself, he's pretty sure were taken by surprise by the cult. There is no sign of any sort of battle taking place in or around the castle before their attack, before your party's attack. Mostly, he finds a lack of much evidence at all to go on. It seems as if the Baron was going about his life, and it's as if they vanished. Lucas gradually comes to the conclusion that since the Baron appears to have disappeared, and from what he's been told that they have not been seen elsewhere, that the Baron did not flee, but that the Baron and his family were probably taken by surprise and used in whatever sacrifices were necessary to open the portal.
grim. It would explain why they weren't among the prisoners, though. It would explain their absence. Presumably, their bodies wound up in the abyss.
Mm-hmm.
Well, with that note, Lucas will return to the bedroom he set aside for himself and get that rest.
Yes. And I believe that with that, we're probably good to go the next day, unless anyone has anything more they wish to do in the castle.
I jump
Okay.
on the bed.
Vilstiger jumps on the bed. Splicter joins you and also jumps on the bed.
Ah! No one can stop us.
Okay.
I mean, the bed breaking would probably stop you, but
He's a goblin. He weighs like as much as a child. It's probably fine.
Yeah.
you see
it's
that
also
like
really,
children
like,
are
strong.
notorious for breaking beds.
I didn't break my bed until I was an adult.
Yeah.
And then it was through the slow progress of years.
I must have been a fat ass when I was a child.
So
Me too. Sorry, Matt. It's over. We gotta talk about Breaking Bad.
So Morning comes after you gain the benefits of a short rest. Anyone needs to spend hit dice. Looks like some of you are still pretty banged up.
I
Short
probably
rest just gives us the ability to spend hit dice. We don't get any back, right?
Right.
No long rest in a castle.
No, you still need to take a day off if you want a long rest.
Remember, if you're going to spend a hit die, you get a bonus from my deal-a-majig.
Right. It's off of rest.
What's the bonus?
Yes.
D6.
Yeah, D6. Jesus, level 9? Wow.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I was gonna spend one too.
Okay. So, so the next morning comes. The Red Boot Musketeers, who are some of the Count's soldiers, are staying behind at the castle to hold it for now. The Imperial Rangers have their own business and go about that. The Count's knights each return to their own fiefdom. And Saint Amelia and her retinue are ready to set out with you. It's a 4-day trip back to Bolstad, and then from there it's quite far to get to the Tower of the Archmage.
We will perhaps want to take a long rest in Bolstad, but
That would make
without
sense.
a doubt, the Duke of Bolstad or Count or whichever it was will
Count.
want a full report on what happened here. And by then, 3 days is a good amount of time to read a book.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So you set out. On the road, partways into your journey, you see up ahead of you along on the road, Lucas, since you're driving the wagon, you see ahead of you 10 shiny brass creatures. You probably recognize them pretty quickly as Modrons.
Law demons.
There's a tridrome, 3 duodromes, and 6 monodromes.
I guess Lucas will pull up towards them and stop and turn the house so the front door is facing them and park.
Mm-hmm. The tridrome speaks. Come out and be measured.
Lucas will gather everyone up and say, I don't know what this is about, but Saint Amelia perhaps will advise us afterwards. Yes? He'll ask her, hopefully.
Yes, just be patient with them.
What are they looking for?
Step on out to be measured.
So
If you're gonna arrest us.
no, Filsticker, you'll be quite fine. Amelia promises. One by one, the duodrones start requesting body parts, and as it does so, a monodrone will measure the length of will take measurements of that appropriate body part, which the duodrone dutifully writes down. So it will say arm from tip of middle finger, and they'll measure your arm, and so on, and the measurements are extensive, at least as much as what a good tailor would take, if not more.
When they said come out and be measured, I was not expecting it to be this literal.
Yeah. Meanwhile, the Tridrome is asking each of you in turn background questions and writing, and one of its faces is asking you questions, while the other one is while another one of its faces is writing it down onto a very, very, very long scroll. What stock are you from?
Stock?
Yes.
In any other word?
It's like they're not allowed to say race anymore. That'd be understanding.
Yeah, it's a burning wheel now.
But does Saint Amelia answer?
Human.
Of course she does.
Dwarf?
It records that. It turns to one of its duodrones and says, "Measure the length of its beard." The duodrone then gives the command to the monodrone, who then measures your beard.
Lucas is fighting not to correct its grammar.
Then, after it collect, each of you are asked a battery of questions, including your stock, your sex, your age, your place of origin, and assorted information. And all of these factors about you are contabulated and recorded. Once their rather exhaustive measurements of you are taken, the Tridrome simply says, "We are done. Move along."
Thank you. Lucas will step back aboard, take his driver's seat, and wait for everyone else to get in, and then ask Saint Amelia, "So, why?"
You're going to see quite a lot more things like that in the coming years. This is the first
Taking over.
this is the first stages of the March of the Modrons.
But, why?
No one
Is it a
knows.
census? Are they simply hoping to perfect data? Wait,
Something
no
like-
one knows.
Well, I
Excuse me.
assume Primus knows.
Lucas will put the house back in park,
Mhm.
and step outside. And address the lead. What was it? Try something.
Yeah, Tridrome.
Tridrome. Excuse me. Why are you collecting this data at this time?
The data must be collected
To what purpose?
to be recorded.
Where?
In the library of Mechanus.
Why now?
It is time.
How long have we known that this was going to be the time?
Forever.
How did you... has it been a countdown, or did an event presage this time?
It happens every he gives a measurement in cycles of which is a meaningless unit of time to
Anyone who
Lucas.
isn't acutely aware of the cesium atom.
About how many times per cycle in the last cycle was the previous recorded data accessed in the library at Mechanus?
We do not know.
Do you know if the number is greater than 0?
We do not know.
Fair enough. Well, I wish you luck with your senses. Primus protect.
Primus protects.
Lucas will get back in and drive on off, having discovered what he can, which is that the Modrons also don't know why they're doing this.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Amelia, illuminates the situation a little bit more. It happens about every 330 years or so. The Modrons go on a furious journey around all the planes, traveling to everywhere in creation, and they take all sorts of strange measurements. There will be more of them here over the next few years.
The world barely survived the previous march.
It is, ironically, a very chaotic event for the people they disrupt. Most ironically.
Well, perhaps next cycle we'll think to put up some signs ahead of time. Advise everyone what to expect.
Alright. Another 2 days pass, and you reach the castle at Bulstrad.
We'll drive back on up the road towards the castle. I'll have Saint Amelia come stand near the front of the house with me so she can wave at guards so that we don't have to stop and answer a lot of questions every time.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Saint Amelia says that she should go and speak with the Count and deliver a report of what has happened.
Oh yes.
in his land.
What did you discover in the book?
Oh, the book. The book is the writings of an elvish druid. He is quite unhappy with the Empire, and what he considers the destruction of the natural world in the construction of human cities and the organization of farms. He is very angry. I do not believe this. I believe to be a copy from the original journal. This is not his. It's not written by his hand. So I do not believe that this druid was among your cultists, but someone else, perhaps someone who inspired them in some way. Although there is no mention of demon worship among these pages.
Curious. I find that quite odd. Druids aren't particularly known for such a thing. Could be worthy of investigation before we ascribe this journal or its creator responsibility for what took place.
Well, you know how pagans are.
We may in fact be looking at the possession of a second victim.
That is indeed possible.
Well, I don't envy whoever has to sort this out. Fortunately, we've far simpler global level threats to address. Good luck with the Count. We'll be at an inn nearby.
Very good. And so Saint Amelia is gone for at least a few hours as she goes and speaks with the Count, and the Count has to offer her, dinner and pleasantries, and she'll be gone for, the rest of the evening. Molstad is a much smaller city than Nilfenburg, of course, but it is rather large. There is much to do here. If you plan on taking a long rest here, you will find a great many things to do to entertain yourselves. Is that the plan?
Yes. I believe so.
Yeah, probably.
I think most of us expended most of our resources, and we're not particularly happy about that.
Yes. So very, very good. When Saint Amelia does return to you that evening, and you discuss wishing to take a long rest here, she agrees. She doubtlessly would have expended the majority of her spell slots as well in the battle, and is quite happy to take a long rest. So you rest for the night. Morning comes, and you have a whole day in Volstad. Does anyone want to do anything of note during this day of downtime?
Guys, this would be sorry, you go.
No, go ahead.
Guys, this is a good day for us to divide up all that treasure.
That makes sense.
It does. Let's get the spreadsheet out.
Right. Keep in mind that I am in debt to the party for 124 gold. Or I guess technically 99 gold if I decide to keep this gold bracelet and sell it myself. And give everyone the money. Which would be probably quite obvious, but...
All right, important question. Nienor. What do we want to do about Nienor?
Oh yes, Leonor. Um. Oh, well, you guys should decide what you're doing with it. I will need to find out what its XP value is, but
Right, that the maybe we shouldn't consider that part of the treasure. I'd say whoever has it might, draw some trouble if any elves see it. Maybe that one bears a bit more research before we do something.
does anyone have anything to say to that?
That could be wise. It might have some diplomatic value in the future.
But is there anyone that secretly really, really wants it?
No, I already have a cursed weapon, thank you, so...
Kill him and take it and then throw it away!
Didn't we already do that? I feel like that already happened.
No.
What did?
That there was some sort of a fight, and after which we identified that the thing was a problem. No, did we not?
You've never done anything about it now.
You shouldn't.
Because after the fight where it first became where Silas started realizing it was a problem, Silas talked to Philsticker about it, and Philsticker's like, "Oh, that's fine. I want to murder people all the time," and then nothing was done.
Tell them I'm not cursed. I mean, don't say anything.
Nice.
See. So, Sorrow's value as a magical item is not especially high, but I gave it history, so I want it to be worth more than that. So I will say it as a value. When you're calculating up your treasure XP, counted as 500.
All right. Spreadsheet should be along in a second. I'm just going to share what I've got so far, so that you can check it and make sure that I haven't mislabeled anything.
Okay.
Treasure items sell for their full value. Virtual items don't actually sell for value, and resale will be half value. So
Right.
some
Looks good to me. Yes. Yep.
And there's how many of us getting to share of this again? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right?
Yes. 6 players.
All right, so if I'm looking at this right, we're looking at 643 XP each,
Mm-hmm.
and 476 gold, 5 silver, and 8 copper each. And Slag owes us money, so he will subtract 180 from that, and
124.
124. Okay.
And that will go to the rest of the party, obviously.
An extra 24, 80 each.
Mm-hmm.
That is a goodly amount of XP for us.
Yeah, almost up to 10,000.
Yep, getting close. I show 96.62. And it was 1, 2, 3, 4 days back, so I'll subtract my, and then a fifth day I'll subtract 10 gold.
Mm-hmm. Everyone else should do the same.
Is there a shop in town?
I mean, there's many shops in town.
Is there a shop that sells magic items in town?
Does it exist?
if you want to purchase potions or scrolls, you can probably find that in the city. But if you want to purchase magic items, you'll have to use the purchasing magic items downtime action.
Shoot, now I wish I had a prepared shopping list of scrolls.
Some scrolls. I mean, you can't go around and you can't go buying a scroll of meteor swarm. Even but first and second level spells are probably available.
Yeah, all right. Give me a sec. Then will other people do stuff while I put together a small shopping list of scrolls for Lucas. Actually, he doesn't really have time to do a lot of copying spells. It might not even be worth picking up scrolls. We're so busy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Did you include my gold bracelet in the money? Out of curiosity. 25 gold bracelet.
Nope.
Okay. Bort will just quietly sell that off and pocket the money for himself.
Good. And what happened with the money Bort owed? Did you?
Yeah,
it's paid off. It has been paid off. I took it out of my share.
I know. I mean, is it on the numbers in the spreadsheet?
No, but it's that's where the extra 24.8 is coming from at the end of all that. So it's the money listed plus 24.8 if you're not bored.
Okay, I'll just add 24.8 to my experience.
No, you don't. We don't get XP for the money that board owes us.
Yeah, because you've already got
Okay.
the XP for that gold. You don't get XP for it twice. But speaking of XP,
That's 24 gold.
Yeah.
Okay.
And 8 silver.
But speaking of gold, sorry, not of gold, of XP, I'm gonna give everybody an additional 600 XP for closing the portal.
Nice.
So that should be 102.62 by the look of it.
All right, wait. What did you just give us?
600
It's not
XP.
102.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, 102.62, right.
At what point do you
6,500 or 14,000.
ooh, 14,000?
Yep,
For,
long way to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too far.
Probably another couple adventures. So, so everyone has a few hundred more gold in your pockets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. By the way, to clarify, Filster takes that dagger, so he throws 34 gold onto the pile
Uh-huh.
to even up. So everybody gets I guess the same amount of money. Yeah, pretty much.
How
I'm
much?
not sure I followed that.
Yeah, what are you doing?
He took that enchantable dagger that we found.
Mm-hmm.
You bought it with
And-
virtual gold. You can do that. All you have to
Yeah.
do is part with 500 gold
And
pieces.
then
You
I-
got it.
Well, okay, so my individual cash total was 476, so he just leaves
Oh, no.
or takes that in the form of the dagger and then pays off the difference
Out of the
so that the
24.8.
total should be the
It's
yeah.
fortunately, 476 plus 24 is 500. So you can just count
Yeah.
that as 13 silver, 8 copper, and the dagger, if that's how you want to handle it.
Alright.
And it comes out the same to the rest of us.
Mm-hmm.
That is assuming that the dagger is counted as a treasure object, as I've listed it here.
You actually have it listed as a virtual object.
Oh yeah, that's right.
You
You
never
didn't even
sold-
sell the dagger.
Yeah. So if Phil Sticker is turning back his 500 gold to keep the dagger, then you need to divide up
100 gold each, everyone.
everyone except him gains an additional 100 gold.
Wait, what's happening? I'm confused. God damn.
The dagger was never sold. Was never calculated as part of the sold stuff. Sala.
Right.
My bad, but
Yeah.
we'll take
So-
your money.
Alright, so is that that's experience?
No,
No,
it's
you
already
did get
fa-
experience for recovering the dagger, but you already have been given it.
Yes.
Okay, then where is this money coming?
From your pocket.
If you
Did
don't
you
have
look?
enough,
Did you look at the spreadsheet, Sala?
I am, but I'm being confused now.
Yeah,
If
that's
the
my bad.
share. Yeah, you're saying very confusing words. If I had a share, then I can not take that share and instead take something worth that. And yeah. Please
Ba-
redo the spreadsheet. I'm confused.
The spreadsheet is right.
basically-
My words earlier were what was wrong.
right? You know how I had to pay a massive debt.
No,
for
wait.
my
I think
suit of
Sala's
armor?
right. Because if the dagger is just shut up and deal with it, Sala.
We are charging.
Well, I already
Phil Sticker
did.
We are charging Phil Sticker the cash value of the dagger to put dibs on it, even though we were going to put it in a box and never look at it again if he hadn't.
Yes.
If we don't want to do that as a party and we just want to gift the dagger to Phil Sticker, we can.
I already added the 100 though. that you
It's
forwarded.
true.
Yeah, no, okay. So the way that you seem to have this broken down, you said each individual gets 476 gold worth of money from selling things or shit they keep. So if I kept the dagger, then from the total gold that would have been earned, that's my share, plus approximately 23 point something gold. So if Phil Sticker just throws the 23 point something gold onto the pile, then it is like he has taken his share in the first place because he's taken equivalent value and returned the difference. So nothing should change.
Exactly. But
For the
there's now
individual.
more, because we weren't going to sell the dagger, we were going to hold on to it and then figure out what to do with it when we were going to enchant it. There is now more real gold. You have effectively changed the dagger from being virtual gold to real gold by purchasing it from here. And so the rest of us do get that money, but the total amount of XP doesn't change, nor does the total amount of money that the party has earned. You are just going to be poorer, and we are going to be richer.
Wait. No, that still doesn't make sense because if
It makes
if
perfect
there
sense.
were
It's just
500
mean.
Yes.
No, I mean it doesn't, because if so, in what sense was the dagger's value not counted before if you're claiming the total amount of money doesn't?
It was added to the XP total column, but not the cash total column.
Right, and if that's the case, then the individual share would be
500.
higher
It
due
would
to
be
the value
100
of the
higher
dagger.
than listed here, which is why I said everyone add an extra 100 gold over in the other chat.
Yeah, okay, which means I actually do get money now.
No. Because you don't get a share of the money that you spent to buy the dagger. I mean, arguably, we could give you that discount. We could be nice and divide
No,
the
if
500
in the-
gold 6 ways, and give you a share of that money.
The
That might be
amount
fair,
of
but
money. No, there's some kind of misaccounting going on here.
there isn't. But fair enough. We'll each part
Because the amount
of
of-
gold for you.
Because the amount of money that I paid back to cover the difference of the dagger was determined by the size of the individual share. But if the individual share is now larger because it didn't include the original value of the dagger, then that means that it should be more than 500 gold, right?
But it wasn't. And that's why it's not. But if you want a share of the money you paid to buy the dagger, I do think that's fair. So everyone give Phil Sticker the difference between 100 and that. Or we could just not. But by all means, anyone who wants to can get. If that's what we want to do, everyone will have to part with 16.67 gold pieces, so that Phil Sticker can have his 83.3 of the share, or 0.33 of the share. All in favor?
Sure.
All opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you guys did the same for me, so it's only fair that we do it for him.
Okay. When I edit this video, I'm just gonna put like a big, red text. This is the loot and shopping division of the episode.
It's true. We should have
Please,
paused.
please
We gotta
fast
move
forward to
everything.
the point where this red text disappears.
It's just a long period of me being slightly perturbed and confused because I don't actually understand.
You were right,
what
Sala, but we
financially
were
is
we were trying to just fuck you for convenience sake, and you weren't having it.
Right is a strong word. There was a fair argument to be made. What I did first wasn't strictly speaking wrong, but it might not have been. There's an argument to do it your way, and it benefits your character to do so.
Yes. All
But
right.
I don't understand what the argument is to not do it.
Well, fair enough. I don't think that's important since we didn't.
Yes.
Alright, well, all my money totals are wrong now because I've had to change them too many times, but that's okay.
All right. This officially ends the money division portion of the episode. You have your long rest. Everyone gets all of your stuffs back.
Yay.
And it is the morning of November 8th. Your destination is the Tower of Archmage Gerhard, Keeper of the Third Eye.
Yes.
You're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days to Rankburn Castle, and then another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, another 8 days to the tower.
So it's a total of how many again?
15 days.
All right. We'll subtract my 30 gold.
Convalescence, I have to question something that you said in the Fever Swamp chat.
You should probably assume I didn't mean it.
Okay. Because you totally can spend it on that.
Oh, were you not one of the people who said, I don't want to deal with that?
No, that was Retromock.
I've heard it from many people at many different times in my career playing these games, so in my defense, I almost assume it's the default, unless someone specifically says, oh, I want to play the sort of game where we do that. Alright, I guess that's neat then. Maybe we should do that at some point, if we feel the need.
Yes. But okay. So it's going to be 15 days to the tower. You'll each need to choose the lifestyle that you will keep for those 15 days. Use from the Travel in the Empire document. You, seeing as how you just got a bunch of gold, you probably, except for Philsticker, you'll probably want to not go below modest, which is 1 gold a day. But if you pay 2 gold a day, you can be more comfortable and potentially gain inspiration.
I'm just trying to remember again the rules for the bardic thing.
It's actually from your entertainer background, not your bard.
Yeah, sorry.
How many days?
15.
And how did the inspiration thing work again?
If you live in the comfortable lifestyle for at least 7 days in a row, you make a Constitution save against an 11. If you're successful, you gain inspiration.
All right,
I
two of them
already
coming up.
have inspiration, so
Nope.
no reason.
But But I mean, if you want, a private room and a hot bath and good quality food and drink. But yes, Modest basically buys you out of the downsides for living in poor or squalid conditions, and comfortable gets you a benefit. I also have rules for living at a wealthy lifestyle, but that's really only available on the west coast or near Nilfenburg. It's not available out here.
Okay.
In
Let's see.
the sticks. But yeah, so Kildrak, your
It's like,
entertainer background will get you
modest
for free,
Yeah.
or a discount on comfortable.
Yeah. Right. I think given the large amounts of gold that he now has, he will go on ahead and do a discounted comfortable.
Okay.
What is that? That takes it down to what, 5 silver a day, or?
That'll reduce it to 1 gold a day.
Okay. Cool.
And if you are in need of inspiration, make a Constitution save.
I am.
Nope.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
You needed an 11.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's
There's no-
15 days, so you should get 2 shots, right?
Oh, that's true. That's true.
No.
You'll get a second shot before you arrive.
Hey.
Okay. You gain inspiration. All of this pleasant living has rejuvenated Kildrak and inspired him to go out into the world.
It's nice to get the occasional bit of meat.
Mm-hmm. Yes. All right. So, on the road, in one of the evenings, you're when you're staying at a tavern or at an inn alongside the road, just beyond Rankburn Castle, a little over halfway through your journey. It's night, and it's raining outside, and those of you who have paid for, at least modest lifestyle, are sitting around in the tavern section of the inn, relaxing, however your characters would do so. When the door flies open, and a creature 6 foot 4 inches tall, with greenish skin and tusks, wearing black leathers, gray furs, soaked head to bone, or head to toe, soaked to the bone from the rain, steps in. He looks very, very annoyed. He walks right past all of you, up to the bar, and plops a gold piece down in front of the bartender, and growls for an ale. An orc has entered the bar. A very rare sight in this part of the world.
Nah, he don't mean anyone no harm, Lucas.
What? I'm sorry. I was just heading up to my private room with this loaf of bread, this melted cheese, and this bottle of spring ale. Enjoy your
Now,
orchid,
Lucas,
friend.
now.
Goldsticker. Lucas recognizes that this is a strange thing, but he in no way considers orcs to be a part of his mandate as a cartographer / magician.
Yes.
Kildrak nudges Philsticker and says, "Hey, dare you to go poke him." Kildrak's pretty drunk by now.
Well, what's the reward?
The orc by this point has like hung up his furs next to the fire, and is down to just his normal clothes, and left his boots, kicked off his boots, and is drinking an ale. He's looked around the crowd, and he's definitely taking note of the dwarves and Silas, because they look like adventurers. But so far he hasn't approached you.
Kildrak, again being somewhat drunk, is going to sort of wave at the orc, interrupting his song that he was undoubtedly playing, and shout out, "Come sit with us! I'd like to hear your story. You look interesting."
The orc stands up from his chair, and he goes over and drags a wooden chair across the floor and plops it at your table. And he sits down, and he says, "I am called Ganbatar. I am very far from home."
Yes, I imagine you are. I'm Kildrak.
I judge that you are very far from home as well, dwarf.
Yes. Far. And I don't know that I'd be welcome either, should I return.
He laughs. Then perhaps we both have stories to tell.
Very likely.
Did you two eat a child? He laughs.
Is that something goblins tend to do?
No, this was the fantasy. The orc immediately ruins the mood by asking Kildrak if he also ate a child.
Oh, I thought that was Philsticker asking him.
It strikes too close to home because that's
It could have
exactly
gone
what
either
Kildrak
way.
did.
Yes. Yes.
So, tell us, if you wish,
I will tell you.
what brings you here?
As you
Kildrak
might
will,
imagine,
call over for some ale.
Yes. I will be happy to tell you my story, friend dwarf. Well, as you might imagine, I come from the south, from the Orcish lands. I have long heard stories of the Nilfen Empire and your mighty stone castles and the might of your forces, and
Yes, terrible, isn't it?
I wished to see it all for myself. I guess it was 2 years ago. I crossed through the mudlands surrounding the goblin pits. Lost my horse. Had to eat it. Very tragic. But I made it. But I survived, and I made it into the land of the Empire. And I have been traveling across from village to village, city to city, castle to castle. Learning your language as I go, and seeing all there is to see. You strike me as mercenaries? He looks mostly at Bort.
I suppose I am one, though my colleagues are more conventional in their adventuring.
Yes, we're cartographers.
Go back upstairs, Lucas.
You didn't want to be part of this. We're not cartographers tonight.
Your mercenaries working for the cartographers.
That
I mean,
that is
the pay's pretty
actually
good,
pretty
so-
accurate for the other player characters.
Yes, I
think
guess
we're-
mercenaries is probably the closest way to call us.
Mm-hmm.
It's been
Some kind of giant financial scam, I think.
But we're adventurers. It's like those California entrepreneurs of mercenaries, where you get to make artisanal murders that express who you are as a person, rather than having to kill strictly on a for-profit basis.
Bespoke killers.
you gotta have some pride in your work.
So which way are you heading? He asks.
Toward glory and death.
Kojak looks at the others. Which way are we heading next?
We're going to go see some wizard, right?
Ah, yeah, the Archmage.
Where are we now?
Okay, you can check the
We-
map.
We mostly let the cartographer handle the maps.
So do you tell him the general direction that you're traveling?
Yeah, I guess so.
Ah, I see. I myself am currently heading back back east to Bolstad. I plan to spend the winter there.
Huh. That's we were just there.
I've heard that there's been some trouble out that way. Do you know anything about it?
You could say that. Yes.
Elves.
Yeah. Elves tried to do some shit.
Elves.
But I suppose it's more or less their way.
I suppose so.
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh, big to-do over some portal. I assume they were trying to summon some tree demon or something. Anyways, we killed someone who was running it all and stopped it. It was quite exciting. I plan to write a song about it once we're stationary for more than 5 minutes.
Well, I'll have to. I hope to hear it one day. Sounds like a tale.
Oh, it shall be. I wouldn't want to spoil it for you right now, though.
So, you know, as the evening progresses and drinks are had and food is eaten, Jan Batar will question the party a lot about their past adventures, and he will share stories of his own of, oh, I got in this fight in in Hemmer, and got this scar, and this happened there, and there was this misunderstanding when I was still learning the language, and I insulted someone in
Killed them all!
in Terfield, and one thing led to another, and I can't go back there. And
Yes, well, we all have towns like that.
Not that there's anyone alive to remember me. He bumps your shoulder.
But yes, well, he swapped some stories with you, and by morning though he's by that evening though he the next day, you know, he goes his way, heading east, and you'll be heading west, and yes, and you set out again. So the rest of the journey passes without incident. As you approach the tower, some of you get the distinct feeling of being watched. The tower itself is most impressive. It is you can see it from miles away, and it seems to radiate a sort of magicalness to it. The architecture is somewhat unearthly. It does not look like a tower that you would expect to find in Nilfenburg. It is truly a wizard's tower. But despite this magical structure looming over the horizon, the villagers that you pass, the farmers, the townsfolk, seem as mundane as anywhere else, just going about their lives, hawking their goods, and tending
they are happy.
finishing their harvests before of the last bit of crops, and generally just going about their peasant lives.
Lucas will drive up towards the tower.
As you approach the tower, you see there are there are no mundane guards here. There are numerous gargoyles along the exterior wall. Whether or not these gargoyles are the come to life kind or not, and how many of them are, is unclear. Amelia says that Gerhard should know that we're coming. He knows everything that happens in his domain.
Splendid, very useful. Suppose we'll wait here then.
You do not wish to meet the Archmage?
No, I mean for him to open the door.
Ah.
I was going to go knock, but if he already knows.
Yes. Amelia steps out of your
The platonic carriage.
the platonic
caravan.
platonic caravan, and she walks to the door, and the moment that she reaches the gate, like the moment she could reach out her hand and touch the door, it opens.
Guess I'll follow her in.
Yes. Is anyone not going into the tower? Speak now.
It sounds like everyone is.
All right. So
We all go.
everyone follows Amelia into the tower, and let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break.
All right. At the beginning of this 5-minute break, I am going to chide all of us and congratulate all of us for not hiring the obvious hireling that KSB threw at us the minute we mentioned that we might potentially hire a hireling.
Huzzah!
Oh, you thought I was trying to offer you a hireling, huh?
Well, it's fairly obvious. Oh, look, you come to a bar and there's an orc here. And he's a mercenary and he's interested in your mercenary work. And here's his mercenary resume.
I think he was probably foreshadowing that he's gonna do something with all the orcs to the south.
Yeah.
That's fair, but
It's kind of what I got from it.
We've studied your culture. We would like to live in your buildings.
anyway, I'm going to be right back. But when I get back, could I get a price check on the absolute value between 100 and 500 of a cloak of protection? Because Lucas will probably buy the materials to craft such a thing himself. Or to enchant such a thing himself, if that's allowed. If you prefer him to require a tool proficiency first, then I don't know. I guess he'll be buying the tool and practicing. But I'll leave that to you. That both of those decisions I think are valid, depending on campaign.
Yes. Cloak. I don't know. Like, I know you need the tool proficiency to make magic weapons and armor. I don't know about a cloak, but I'll think about that.
I can't exactly remember how it works, but doesn't it only matter to like the nearest 25 gold? Because you do it in like 25 gold per day until you have the full value of the item or something. I could be wrong in thinking of something else, but I thought that's how making items worked.
You still need the proficiency to make something normally.
Right, no, I was just saying about the cost. You would have like an easier time estimating it if you only had to give it to like the nearest 25 instead of a super specific number.
Oh, sure. But okay. 5-minute, 10-minute break. 'Cause apparently I have to look up a cloak of protection now.
Go.
So yes, 10-minute break. Go now. Okay. So we're back from our break now. To answer on recording about Lucas's question, no, he cannot create a cloak of protection because he is not proficient in Arcana because he's not a real wizard. But he could buy one. if he's got some downtime to search for one. But for now, the party enters the Archmage's tower, and you enter into a room with a illuminated by glowing crystals on the walls of a slightly yellow color. There are tapestries in here depicting events from the Empire's history. There is a gear platform on the floor in the center, inscribed with magic symbols. Amelia immediately walks. Amelia, who's clearly been in this room many times before, immediately walks towards the gear platform, and steps upon it.
Lucas will join her.
Yeah. All of you follow and gather around, and as you step onto the gear, your surroundings change, and you find yourself on the same gear in a very different room. This one looks more wizardly. There are bookshelves crammed with so many books. Pickled body parts of monsters and trophies from many conquests. Some of which Lucas, being proficient in history, and from the Empire, might even be able to recognize as items from the history that Saint Amelia and Archmage Gerhard have shared, previous trophies from victories that he's heard of.
He'll look over each of them, but he won't make a fuss.
Amelia leads the party through a door, and you enter into what Lucas immediately recognizes as a very advanced alchemist's lab. The smell of alchemical reagents is strong here. And there's a man. He looks like a human male in his late 40s, early 50s. Head completely shaved bald. No beard. Wearing robes of red and gold and greens. Busying himself with the creation of some elixir. He seems remarkable mostly only in one way, and that is in the center of his forehead. There is a third eye with an iris that seems to be made of an emerald. He spares only the smallest glance at the party as they enter, and he speaks to Amelia. These are the adventurers you told me about. To which she replies, "Indeed, these are the ones who dealt with the corpse pile in the fever swamp." He is silent for a few seconds as he finishes what he is doing at his workstation, and sets some flask back to over some heat, and he turns, and the gemstone eye seems to look at each of you in the soul as he looks you over. He says, "From what I hear, that was some very good work you did down there. I am thankful that I did not have to interrupt my research."
Yes, well, we certainly hope it was good work. But I'm afraid I am going to have to ask you to briefly interrupt your research to help us finish the job. The corpse pile has left behind an object that will need to be destroyed, and we do not possess the means.
Yes, I sensed that object on you when you entered into my domain. Powerful necromancy, that.
Yes, you should have a look, really. It's a fascinating enchantment. Do you have a safe space for me to dump it? It's best not touched.
Yes. Come. Bring it with you. I will take you to a more secure room.
Thank you.
So he takes you to another room of his tower. As you attempt to enter this room, Splicter goes, "Ow! I hit my nose on
Are you
something.
okay?
I don't think I can go in there."
That's irritating.
There must be some sort of ward. Gerhard turns and says, "Oh yes, your outsider familiar will need to wait outside."
I'm sorry, Splicter.
You're gonna tell me what happens, right, boss?
Yeah, I'll write it all down.
Alright. A pseudo dragon laughs at Splicter from its perch on on the top of a nearby bookshelf. Splicter turns into a bat
Here.
and chases it.
All right, I approve of that.
As the familiars get acquainted, the rest of you walk into this room, which is warded to hell and back. Not literally, but it is possessing of immense magical security. And Gerhard says, "Go ahead and dump it in the middle of the floor there."
All right, Lucas will very carefully take out the box from his chest, open the box, fetch the scroll tube in a sack, remove it, note the ward. He will then remove the top, pull out the wadding from the top, and then pour the object gently onto the floor.
Gerhard produces a pearl from his robes, and he casts the identify spell in order to learn everything there is that he can about this object. He frowns. Says, This is some very powerful, very dark, natural magic. It's raw, untamed, but powerful.
But quite dangerous.
Yes. In this form, it could only bring plague
Plus
and
1d6.
disease.
1d6.
But it could be refined. He muses.
Yes, but even after being refined, it would hardly be a safe relic to have in Nilfenburg.
True.
Well, now, Lucas, he is a more trained wizard than you are. He might.
Should such a artifact be created, and it were to fall into the hands of a necromancer, that would be unpleasant.
And
Amelius-
long eons, virtually unpreventable. So, we should take the long view and destroy it now.
Amelia, just, looks at Gerhard and says, "We came here to get your help to destroy it." And Gerhard seems to sigh. Well, very well. I suppose that that is the correct thing to do. Seems a bit of a waste, but
You say that now, but 6,000 years, when it destroys the world, you would regret sitting in whatever plane you do at the time, having not destroyed it now. I should think we should do so.
very well. It does appear that it will be quite resilient against any sort of destructive power I might throw at it myself. We need something much greater than mere spells.
Yes, my thoughts were that you could arrange transport to the Clockwork Nirvana. They should have a suitably destructive device there.
Yes, I know such a spell. I can plane shift your party there, and bring us back, bring you back the next day. I will need to prepare the spell. Wait, no, I don't have spell slots like that. I mean I do, but I forget that I don't have to dedicate spell slots because I'm not a third edition wizard. So yes, having the spell prepared at all is good enough. I don't have to prepare it multiple times. So yes, I am prepared to take you all to the Clockwork Nirvana. Today, now, if you are ready.
Right, then, by all means, give me just a moment. And Lucas will use his usual array of devices to push the gemstone back into the tube, and then put the wadding in, and then close it, and then tie it in a sack, and then put that in a lockbox. nod.
He he leads the party back into another room. And he says, "My work here is time sensitive. So what I shall do is I shall plane shift you all to Mechanus, and then I shall return, and to here to finish my work. When I will give you a week's time in Mechanus, and then I will pop back, and if you are at the meeting point, I will help you to return. If you are late,
God help.
Primus
You had
protects.
best try again a week later if we're late. It is not as though casting it one more time will be a bother for you.
I suppose so. Amelia says, I believe that that your party can handle things from this point onward. I will return to the capital and prepare for your return.
You have no interest in traveling to Mechanus and seeing this?
Oh, I've been to Mechanus before.
Oh.
Far too many times.
Any words of advice?
Follow the law?
I don't suppose you could take Phil Sticker with you.
Well, I would be happy to
That's
have...
mean, Lucas.
But Lucas will address the others. But in all seriousness, we are going to the plane of Primus. Do not expect to get away with anything.
Of course not.
Of course.
How should we best travel about the plane? And from our landing point, how can we best reach what we need to find?
Gerhard answers this question. I'm going to take you to a town on one of the gears called New Mechanus. It is not the most pleasant town, but there's a teleportation circle there, so it is easy for me to reach reliably. I will take you there to that town, and from there it will be a few days walk to the edge of the gear. You should be able to see the points where the gear intersects with the other gears. Use some sort of he provides you with some sovereign glue. He says, stick the artifact to the teeth of the gear and watch as it is crushed between the intersection.
Well enough. And you say 3 days there and 3 days back, so your timing of 1 week should be appropriate.
Yes.
But let us perhaps make it a week or 10 days, if that's amenable to you. As
yes.
I don't know what our ability to stay in this town will be like, but
Yes. Yeah, they will be perhaps a little suspicious of outsiders, but as long as you do not cause trouble, I do not think that you will have over much difficulty. All right. So if you're ready to go, everyone stand in a circle and hold hands. Oh, he runs over to a box and pulls out a pair of metal forked pieces of metal. He says, "Okay, this one is to Mechanus, and this is the way to get back home. Very good." And then
I almost forgot. I would have killed you all without these.
and he indicates that everyone should stand in a circle and hold hands.
All right. This will step into position and offer hands.
Mm-hmm.
I only have one.
A hand on your shoulder will be sufficient to complete the circle.
So are we supposed to sing Ring Around the Rosie too?
No, you're just supposed to. And there's a flash of magic, and your surroundings completely change, and you find yourself on in a town in Mechanus.
Oh, cool.
There, you find yourself there, on the place you have drawn a red X. The town is constructed with of numerous identical buildings, numerous identical houses with other structures seeming to be repetitions of the same sort of architecture and structure. The ground itself is metal. There is no soil, but around the village and the houses, there are numerous raised beds of soil. So like like metal containers that contain several feet of dirt, in which in very orderly rows food crops are growing. And there are a lot of these, enough to make up for enough to supply this town with food and then some. There are people here going dressed somewhat uniformly, going about their day, exchanging pleasantries with each other. In the center of the town, there is a circle of with magic symbols. Lucas would recognize this as a teleportation circle, the code of which allows any mage who knows the teleportation circle spell to come to this exact location.
Archmage, before you go, a final question.
Yes.
What is the rotational period of one of these gears?
He gives you, well, you say one of these gears.
This gear.
This gear. This gear moves quite slowly. It will rotate about 1 hex a day.
Very well. So it would appear as though if we make our way to here over the course of 3 days, 1, 2, 3, and be just about to crush into position. That might be a little bit on the unfortunate side. Fortunately, the same seems to be true of most of the gears we could approach, save this one, which will be coming into position there, and then it be a total of 6 days before it will be crushed. I suppose there's a 6-day one on each, isn't there? Yeah.
Yeah.
So perhaps meet us back here in 9 days. That's 3 to
9
get out, 6 to camp and watch, and then 3 to come back.
9
Maybe
days.
10 days.
10 days. 10 days.
10 days and 10 days and 15. Yes, in case something goes wrong.
12 days.
Yes, very well. I shall return to this point in 10 days, and return you to my tower.
Thank you.
I wish you luck. I should go now. My potion is probably burning, and he teleports away, or plane shifts away.
Well, we've very little time, but the Platonic caravan should do for our purposes nicely. Everybody take a moment. I'm going to see if there's someone we can inform of our goings-on before we do them. Lucas will have a quick look around to see if there's anything like a guard standing questioningly at the edge of the teleportation circle.
Yes. There is indeed a guard, and he is standing there waiting patiently to question you.
All right.
He looks human enough.
Okay, I was curious. I was gonna ask if they're humans or are they all Modrons here?
Filster whispers to Silas or Kildrak or whoever's staying next to him. Do Nilfenburgs go here when they die? Are those dead Nilfenburgs?
Ideally, yes, but some of them will be from other places, and not all of us manage.
Well,
Why do you
there
become
go.
like a... Okay. You have to, like, farm here? Okay.
Lucas will go and answer the guard's questions.
Yes. So the guard says, "Hello, travelers. Welcome to New Mechanus. What
Thank
brings
you.
What brings you here?"
The destruction of an evil and destructive magical artifact.
I see. A worthy cause.
Thank you.
In fact, that sounds like the destruction of an evil artifact. That is a deed of great good. The mayor will be overjoyed to hear that. You should speak.
You didn't steal it, did you?
We haven't a tremendous amount of time, but we could certainly spare him a short conversation. How should we proceed?
I shall take you to the mayor.
Thank you.
And he takes you to the mayor, and the mayor is a fat dwarf. And he approaches you. Having heard people have teleported in. Marigold Jane, a pleasure to meet you.
Lucas Dietrichstein of the Nilfenburg Cartographical Association. These are my associates. We're here to destroy an evil artifact.
So I have heard. Very, very good. Very good indeed.
We don't care for good here.
No. that we should thank you then for choosing our portion of the cosmic order to do this.
And I should thank you for providing a means to protect the world from this dangerous device.
Yes. You know, our little village was not always a part of Mechanus.
No?
No. Our people here, we are petitioners to Arcadia. That is where our souls were set to rest. This is or was the third layer of Arcadia until the damned Formians, not the Fomorians, Formians,
Ant people?
the ant people. Yes.
Formians.
Formians. Till the damned Formians swarmed it and shifted us downward to this place. We are doing our best to reclaim this portion of the plane for Arcadia. It belongs there. It's where it's supposed to be. But it has been.
I wonder if that won't be trouble. Do you know if the cog that it sat on is of the usual strength of the cogs of Mechanus?
As far as I know, this Mechanus has been completely subsumed into Mechanus, and people say they can't even tell the difference anymore.
Well, it's certainly worth attempting. And if it fails, we'll have to come back and send a message back through and arrange new transport and travel farther across the plane. But hopefully it won't be too much of a bother for you and your people here.
Oh, it should be fine. I am glad though that you chose to do this here. An act of good might just be what we need to shift our plane back where it belongs. I wish you luck.
You know, there's nothing wrong with Mechanus, but if you feel that it isn't where you belong, certainly that is likely true. So I hope that you return to where you are best placed.
Should you need to rest in town, we have no inn, but you are welcome to stay in my home.
Oh, thank you. That may become necessary depending on the timing of our trip, but we should go soon. It's something we don't have a lot of time for. Our trip back was carefully planned, so wish us luck.
Good luck to you. And yes. No one else in the village will bother you. They're happy. They will allow you to pass by. So it will take you about 3 days to reach the edge.
Then we'll be waiting 3 days for the crash.
Yes. So you set out, and you were riding in the caravan.
Yep.
So as you travel across as you leave the town, the raised beds with food grow more scarce, and you come to a somewhat barren metal gear structure. Who is riding in the tower? near the end of the first day.
That might be an interesting question, but do we want to pause here? We did just lose Creator.
Oh no, we lost Creator.
Yeah, he talked about it in the chat.
Well, I'm looking
Oh.
at the roll 20. Okay. Yeah. So we've lost Creator. So yeah, this seems like a good spot to end. Next week, some adventure in Mechanus. Thank you, people, for watching this far. Thank you for playing. And this is the end.